Welcome back. You're with us on Bazaar Morning Call. And as far as the implied open is concerned, it seems that we could start with at least some green on the screen. Let's see if that remains intact. Because like I said, cues across Asia are very mixed. You have the Chinese markets moving higher. A couple of the other big ones like the Japanese markets in Australia, they're all lower. But what about individual stocks? It's earnings season and our team is standing by with the CNBC-TV18 list of stocks to watch for the day. Guys, good morning to all of you. Let's start off with, once again, the BFSI space. Abhishek, how did Bajaj Housing Finance fare?
Well, the disbursals were weak over there, but AUM growth is pretty strong, which helped the PNL as well. So the disbursals were down 1.15% on a YY basis and almost flat on a sequential basis. However, the AUM growth was at 26.3% YY and about 5.7% quarter on quarter. This drove the PNL. So the NII growth was 7.3% quarter on quarter. The other income growth was robust at more than 26% quarter on quarter. The PAT grew by 21% YY, but 13% quarter on quarter, which is pretty strong. The net interest margin expanded on a sequential basis to 4.1%, which compares to 3.9% in the previous quarter and about 4.4% in the same quarter last year. And asset quality has remained stable. Gross NPA ratio is at 0.29% versus 0.28% in the previous quarter. Back to you.
Right, thanks a lot for that, Abhishek. Well, I'm looking at UltraTech Cement, and yesterday the numbers were disappointing. The stock ended with a cut of around 2%. Now, the con call was post-market hours, and the management sounded quite confident. I'm looking at a lot of brokerage notes. Mostly what they indicate is two factors. One is that it's the pick of the pack. If you have to play cement, you have to play the big boy. And the other one is that profitability is likely to have bottomed out. Let's run you through the key highlights of that con call. On the cost side, they've been saying that in the next few years, they're going to save 300 rupees per ton, increase renewable energy, increase usage of waste heat recovery system, and operating leverage will play out as well. On the pricing trends, prices currently are 2% higher than what it was on an average for the past quarter, so that's good news. And the industry dynamics, they're expecting a bounce back in the second half of the year. So they are targeting double-digit growth for FY25, while the industry should grow by around 7 to around 8%. So they'll keep their market share because they'll be growing faster than the industry. They've also said they've already commissioned 10 million tons. They'll commission another 6.5 million tons. And on the inorganic side, on India Cements, they are awaiting CCI nod out there. Kesoram, they said the NCLT hearing is scheduled for the next month. So in all probability, this transaction will close out in the fourth quarter of the year. And on JP, they say that that asset remains under arbitration. Just a broad read-through that you got from those numbers is that it's more positive than negative, and the stock has corrected close to 10% in the last 1 month. So expecting a tinge of green on that one.
Okay, so UltraTech is going to be on our radar as well. But for now, back to Abhishek. Quite a few lenders have started flashing red on asset quality, slippages rising, provisions rising. Abhishek, tell us about City Union Bank as well as Union Bank of India.
Well, to begin with City Union Bank, their business momentum was pretty healthy with respect to deposit growth. It was at 4.5% sequentially. The loan growth was about 2.5% sequentially. The net interest margin has expanded, and that is surprising factor. A 13 basis point expansion in net interest margin is unheard in the banking sector in this quarter, especially when cost of fund is rising. So the net interest income growth is about 6.8% quarter on quarter. PAT growth is about 7.8% sequentially. The slippages remain stable over their annualized slippage ratio coming down to 1.47% versus 1.53% in the previous quarter. Their asset quality also saw an improvement. Gross NPA ratio down to 3.54% versus 3.88% in the previous quarter. Now, Union Bank of India, the business momentum remained weak over there. Deposit growth of just 1.5% quarter on quarter. Loan growth actually declined on a sequential basis by about 1.7%. Slippages were about 5,219 crores and the write-off was about 4,160 crores. So it looks like one corporate account might have slipped into this account, this quarter. So that which was written off as well. So it looks like MTNL might be the account that might have slipped in this quarter. The exposure over there of Union Bank of India was about 2,500 crores. Asset quality remains stable. Gross NPA ratio at 4.36% versus 4.54% in the previous quarter. The net interest margin has come under pressure. It's declined to 2.9% versus 3.2% in the same quarter last year and about 3.05% in the previous quarter. Back to you.
All right. Abhishek, thank you very much for that. So lots of banks and financials. 361, the wealth manager also reported numbers. So let's go across to Vamakshi for details. Vamakshi, morning.
Well, good morning, Prashant. Not a great set coming in from 361 WAM. Total revenue saw a dip of almost 2% sequentially. It came in much lower than what the street was expecting as well. Largely, the dip sequentially is being led by the transaction and brokerage income, which saw a dip of almost 15%. But on the other hand, the annual recurring revenue saw an uptick of almost 6% sequentially. However, the yield on this revenue saw a bit of moderation to 68 basis points. Operating expenses, on the other hand, surged by almost 13% sequentially. This is much higher than what the street was expecting. Resultantly, the cost to income ratio too surged by almost 50.8%, again higher than what the street was expecting, and the operating profit as a result dipped by almost 13%. The average ARR AUM saw an uptick of 12%. We're seeing healthy inflows in the ARR, which is up nearly 81% sequentially, but the AIF portfolio, which is a part of the AMC business, saw an outflow, and this is a bit of negative. That is because this is a higher yielding book. We have a brokerage note coming in from Investec as well. They've got a hold rating with a target price of 1,050. They say that 361 has been delivering strong PAT growth on the back of strong transactional income, but the sustainability of this transactional income still remains a question. So overall, not a great set for this company.
Okay, all right, got it, Vamakshi. Thanks very much. We'll keep that stock on the radar. Let's head across to Upasana now. She's looking at earnings from Cyient DLM. And of course, the combined project that EPAC is now launching, getting into a lot of the consumer electronics in a big way. Upasana, tell us more.
Good morning. First up, let me start with Cyient DLM. Companies reported in-line set of numbers. Revenue stood at 389 crore with an uptick of 33% on a YoY basis. And this revenue growth was mainly driven by companies' key segments, that is defense and aerospace. EBITDA margin stood at 8.12% with an uptick of 7 basis points on a YoY basis, and company's PAT stood at 15.4 crore with an uptick of 5% on a YoY basis. Now coming to company's order book, it stands at 1,979 crore, which was down about 13% on a YoY basis and 7% sequentially. Next up is EPAC Durable. Hisense India partners with EPAC Durable to manufacture air conditioner and home appliances in India. EPAC Durable will immediately invest firstly in a new manufacturing facility in Sri City, that is in Andhra Pradesh, and the projected production capacity is 1 million RACs by FY28, and production will soon start by June 2025 is what the company has indicated. Hence, both these stocks remain in focus today, and I expect both of them to open in green.
All right, Upasana, thank you very much for that. Route Mobile is the next one that we want to focus on. Reema is here with details. Reema, morning.
Hi, good morning. So things are still slow for Route Mobile. This is a CPaaS company. It helps enterprises connect with the bank, the enterprise connect with a consumer. Every time you make an order, you get that SMS saying your order has been delivered, you've made a payment. So all that messaging which happens either on SMS, that's the traditional route, or even on your OTT platforms, for instance, WhatsApp, is done by a company like Route Mobile. But things have slowed down for the company for the last 4 quarters. Even this quarter, you've seen a flat revenue growth, and on a year-on-year basis, it's only up close to about 10-odd%. But I'm going to go with green for Route Mobile because compared to the prior quarters, there is a little bit of a quarter-on-quarter pickup in revenues. That's point number 1. 2, the stock has been flat for the last 1 year owing to demand coming under pressure. The company in the press release says they're optimistic about Q3 given the festive season. Margins have expanded on a sequential basis, aided by a little bit of an exceptional item. The profit has also seen a jump. But for more details on the environment, there is a conference call at 4 p.m. which will be important. Back to you.
Got it. Thanks a lot for that, Reema. Well, let's wind this down with Sudarshan on Ola and Epigral. Morning, Sudarshan.
Morning, Nigel. So we'll start with Ola. It has updated exchanges regarding the complaints was received for its vehicles. It says it had received 10,644 complaints from Consumer Protection Authority, of which 99% of those complaints are resolved. And apart from this, there is another positive news. I was checking the Vahan data, and in the month of October, market share currently stands at 36%, which is highest in last many months. Second stock is Epigral. It has announced its opening of QIP QIP issue. Sources say company is looking to raise up to rupees 400 crore and base size is of rupees 250 crore and green shoe option is 150 crore and indicative price is rupees 2093 per share, which is a discount of just 1% to its CMP. And regarding QIP proceeds, this company is looking to use the money that they are going to raise. First, repayment and prepayment of certain outstanding borrowings. Second, to purchase fixed assets. And third is general corporate purposes. So that's the reason I'm going with green for both these stocks.
Okay, all right, Sudarshan, thanks very much for that. Yeah, Ola is interesting. Now they're claiming they've resolved over 99% of the complaints. Let's see if it has any positive rub-off impact on the stock at all. Quickly recapping our list of stocks to watch then. The ones that have positive news flow around them are Bajaj Housing Finance, UltraTech Cement, City Union Bank, Route Mobile, Cyient, DLM, EPAC Durables, Ola Electric and Epigral. The ones that have negative news flow around them are Union Bank and 361 Wealth Management. All right, that's our stock list. So expecting more green than red, at least on some of those newsmakers. Let's now figure out what's the latest in the world of commodities. Manisha is joining in with a roundup of all the action. Manisha, hi, morning.
Morning, and thank you for that, Surbi. Well, it's an all-time high continuing for the gold prices today as well. The U.S. election jitters and Israel retaliation against Iran are a couple of factors which keep supporting the prices here. There also have been a couple of reports overnight, one from Citi, another from Bank of America, both suggesting that $3,000 an ounce in the next 6 to 12 months is a possibility. Of course, there could be some near-term correction by the year end. That is when a lot of people start closing their books, but a longer-term view is still on the higher side. Silver as well is trading at around 12-year highs. Most of the metal prices seem to be doing well also because of the strong China economic data, the LPR cut. That has led to zinc prices trading at a 2-week highs. Aluminum right now is trading at a 4-month highs. The Chinese buying has been on the stronger side as well. So that really seems to be supportive. And even as the crude oil prices gained up by 2% overnight, in the Asian markets, it's 0.5% down right now. So the volatility continues and it continues to trade within a range.
All right, Manisha, thank you very much for that. So that's commodities and metals in focus. We'll take a quick commercial break here. We're going to come back, connect with Amnish Agarwal of Prabhudas Lilladher for some fundamental stock talk that's coming up in just a bit.